Welcome back to Love by Design. I am Joan. If this is your first time, welcome. And if you're returning, good to see you again. Today I'm continuing with the love gate, and today we're going to be diving into probably the most controversial love gate in the entire human design system. And this is gate 41, the gate of dreams, the gate of fantasy and contraction. Now, this gate, let me just tell you now, this gate makes everyone uncomfortable. This is the gate that challenges our conventional ideas about monogamy, about commitment, and what it really means to be faithful in a relationship. If gate 41 had a voice, it would say something like, I love you, but I'm fantasizing about someone else. And that's not a contradiction, that's just how I'm designed to love. Whew. This is the only gate that binds love and sexuality together. This is the gate that says love and sex cannot be separated. I have a client who has this gate, and so I've experienced this firsthand with him. So if you've ever felt guilty about having fantasies while in a committed relationship, or if you've ever been with someone whose imagination always seemed to wander, so they're constantly turning heads, or if you've ever wondered why sexual chemistry feels so tied to love, even when it shouldn't be, then this episode is going to be eye-opening for you, and it's probably going to challenge everything you think you know about fidelity, about fantasy, and about the nature of human desire. So let's dive right in. So this gate 41, it lives in the root center. This is the center of pressure, of stress, and of fuel. But this isn't just any pressure. This is the pressure to experience. This is the pressure to feel. This is the pressure to desire. Because this gate at its core wants to experience it all. It wants to feel the full spectrum of what it feels to be human. And we can't just do that with one person. So this is where everything becomes confusing, because while logic says to you that love is an experiment to be perfected, gate 41 is saying love is an experience to be felt. So it's very challenging at the gift level, because we always have the gift and then we have the shadow. So at the gift level, when this gate is operating from its authentic expression, so in its highest frequency, in the right way, it creates people with incredibly very rich inner lives. So these are individuals who can fantasize at a level that makes Hollywood look like it's still playing games, right? Because their imagination is so vivid, it's so real, that their body can physically respond to what they're experiencing in their mind. Again, this is not dysfunction, this is design. So when you have the gate of 41 and it's in the gift frequency, so the higher frequency, you will have the ability to experience the full spectrum of human sexuality and love. You will have a rich fantasy life that enhances rather than detracts from real relationships. You will have the capacity to feel deeply satisfied through your imagination. And you have this understanding that one person cannot fulfill every possible experience. So if you or you know somebody who has this gate, and gate 41 is fully awake in a healthy relationship, you will see that your fantasies, the experience of being with that person becomes like going to a movie, because you don't know what to expect. It's just experiential, it's entertaining, it's fun, it's exploration, it's adventure, it's human. But here's the crucial part. It doesn't mean that anything is missing from their actual relationships. No, it's just the way they are designed. So that's when they're operating in the gift higher frequency. So now we have the shadow side of things. And the shadow side is when this desire, this insatiable desire, this fantasy world destroys relationships. This is like, we see it all the time, where people cheat on their partners for no reason, And so it can really become the destroyer of relationships. So in the shadow expression, it says something like, if I'm not feeling this intense desire for you, I must not love you. If I'm fantasizing about someone else, then I should be with them instead. But we know that that's not true, right? It's just the pressure inside of them. So in the lower frequency, it can be a very, very painful cycle, because at this stage, every fantasy becomes evidence that the current relationship is lacking something. They're constantly looking for something outside of their current relationship. They feel like there's this absence of constant sexual desire, because again, one person cannot satisfy all of this. And then they feel, okay, if there's no sexual desire for me or for this person, then it means that there is no love. As you can guess, they can get very bored in the bedroom. And then they assume that, well, if the sex is boring, then the relationship is boring. So now I'm bored and I need to go look for my new excitement, my new fantasy. And they always have this pressure, thinking that the grass is greener on the other side. So they're constantly looking outside of the relationship, trying to find someone or some people or whatever to fulfill that fantasy, that desire inside of them. And I'm sure you've seen it, because I've seen it. I've seen so many relationships destroyed because of this. Because when that gate 41 is in the shadow, they think because they can imagine this experience with somebody else, it means that that's going to be a better relationship for them. And so they mistake this fantasy, which is just what it is. They mistake this fantasy for reality. And they tie it to love. And they're like, okay, if I'm fantasizing about this person, it means that I must have some form of love for them. It is not the same. The shadow confuses the experience of love with this insatiable feeling of desire. And when this desire inevitably fluctuates, because they will with every long-term relationship, they just believe that, okay, it's time to jump ship. Love is over. I'm done. There's no more fantasy to explore here. So it's a very, very painful place to be. This gate 41, and like I said, I'm working with a client who's navigating this one. So if you have this gate, it cannot be an easy one to navigate. But the goal, as always, is to operate from the higher frequency. So now let's bring that to the world that we live in, and the culture and the society and the conditioning and the narratives that we live in. Gate 41 is difficult. Like, you're already condemned, because there's this myth, and you can agree or disagree, that when you love someone, you can't fantasize about anybody else, which is not true, right? It is being able to have this rich fantasy life, but not feel the need to act on it. Because gate 41 will fantasize about somebody else. So thinking that your partner will not think about anybody else, or that you won't think about anybody else, or that if you think about somebody else, that's the end. I don't love me, you don't love me. Then you're going to keep getting into the same problems over and over again, because we've been conditioned to believe that you can't fantasize about somebody else. But gate 41 is telling us you will. One thing which is what I'm working with my client on, is when you have these fantasies, it doesn't mean that you have to act on it. It doesn't mean that you physically have to go out there and experience it. It is all in the imagination. And you can channel it with your current partner, or you can just suppress it. Just keep it in there and just live it in your mind. And like he says, this gate is so powerful that if you can imagine it in your mind, you actually feel it physically. So it's about practicing how you can experience this in your mind without this guilty pressure of, oh, I shouldn't have those thoughts. No, express it, live it, imagine all you want, but don't necessarily keep acting on it, because when you do, you become that destroyer of relationships. You're destroying the trust that other people have in you, because they don't understand it. I don't have gate 41, so I don't know. I haven't felt how it operates, but I can only imagine the immense pressure that anybody who has this gate is going through. So here's what I'm going to say to you if you have gate 41. With this gate, you will have a rich fantasy life, sexual fantasy life, right? It can help you keep your sexual energy alive and engaged. It can also prevent you from putting unnecessary pressure on yourself to keep acting out and jumping from person to person. Once you understand how to navigate these energies, it can help you explore more with your current partner, right? Again, not expecting them to be everything or being able to satisfy you, but at least you can bring some of that adventure into your current relationships or whoever you're going to be with. Use your imagination, right? Use it to explore whatever is going on in your mind, whatever pressure you're feeling. Use your imagination to go deep within there and just get that excitement or adventure or whatever else it is Gate 41 people are looking for, that expression, that fullness of expression of your sexuality. It's important to be transparent with your partners, but again, because we live in a world where there's this cultural norms, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't do this, you should be this way, if you love me you wouldn't. Well, that's why I always say to people, if you're in a partnership, both of you need to understand your human design so that there's no shame or guilt or threat or trying to make someone feel like there's something wrong with them or that they're broken. When you understand and you come from a place of compassion, understanding that navigating this gate is not so easy, then it can actually foster better closeness and empathy and understanding in the relationship. So this is like with all the gates, the goal is to start with awareness. You become aware of the gates that you have. You become aware of some conditionings if you're in the lower vibration and how you can get to the higher vibration. You start to understand how it impacts your relationships, right? How this gate can impact all of the gates in you and in other people, and what are the benefits, what are the gifts that come with this gate as well. Your gate is part of why you are here. It was given to you in perfection for a reason. So it's not, oh my God, I wish I didn't have this gate. It is, this gate is given to me as a gift. How can I harness it to make sure that it's doing the right things, it's bringing out the best in me, and it's creating experiences and relationships that are actually what you desire. Gate 41. Not an easy one, like I said. This is one of the most controversial gates in the entire human design system. So if you do have the gate, I want to hear from you. I want to know how you've been experiencing it, how you've been navigating it, and what are some of those desires that you've been suppressing, not knowing that you had this gate or that it was part of your design, and how you would manage it going forward so that you're operating in that higher frequency. Fantasies are not a bad thing. Then they don't make you dysfunctional. It is just an opportunity for you to explore your imagination and to explore the fullness of sexuality, which maybe the rest of us are not here to experience, and it is all good. Your design is all good. So that's it about Gate 41, the very, very controversial one. And I want to encourage you. Lean into your design, embrace your design, embody your design. Don't let it hold you back. If anything, let it propel you forward, as the more you lean into it, the more you are able to attract your aligned partner. So if you found this episode really eye-opening, if you have a Gate 41, I want to hear from you for sure. But let me know what your thoughts are about this particular gate, because it's not an easy one to live with in the society that we live in. Thank you so much for being here with me today. We will still continue on our love gates next week as we explore some less controversial ones. Until then, keep dating by design, not by default. We'll see you next week.